future appearances. It should be noted Pac is still on the roster page of AEW.com, but as of up to just about a few weeks ago, there were other non-contracted talents, including Conrad Thompson, and he has never even been on any AEW shows, and there are no plans for him in the future.
I'm honestly surprised Cody hasn't put CM Punk on there.
But I will say, Fat Mac did a little sleuthing, and as of yesterday, Conrad is no longer on there, and I did not see anybody that, as far as my knowledge wasn't actually contracted. For a while there, they had people they were working with. You know, they had some of the Oriental Wrestling Entertainment guys, the OWE, and they've had some other people on, some female talents that weren't contracted. But when I looked yesterday, I think everybody they have on there right now is actually contracted. And Pac
they
is
were
on
contracted for that span of shows.
Well,
you know what I mean? So for them to be on the page at that point, I think the only one who's shouldn't have been there was Conrad.
I guess to me, contracted means that you have a start and finish, a lengthy start and finish date, like an annual contract, I guess I should say, not just like you're going to appear here. Yeah. But nonetheless, it's a website. They can put whoever they want in there. Ronald McDonald can be on there. Did you see that Ronald McDonald
you'd have
match?
to look at Chris Jericho's contract with New Japan. I mean, he signed for 3 matches, you know.
Yeah.
But that was still a huge thing, and you'd call that a full contract. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't even know if it was on their website. But yes, the bottom line is nobody knows other than a handful of folks. Pac and Tony, for sure. Tony Khan, I should say. And who knows? He could be contracted, but still his priority could be Dragon Gate, and that's okay. Pac started in Dragon Gate. Pac helped grow Dragon Gate USA, which sadly is no longer around, but he was a huge part of that. And I can see Pac being loyal to it, and I know that Pac and whoever was in charge of it, they kind of got on each other because they didn't agree with creative, so maybe there's still some hard feelings. We don't know. For all we know, Pac will be on AEW TV every week.
My only speculation is he's outgrown Dragon Gate before. It'll happen again.
Right. So I don't want to not see him in AEW. I love Dragon Gate, but I'm going to watch more AEW than Dragon Gate.
Rumor was flying around. I'm sure this is in the news, but rumor was flying around this week. WWE was trying to get Enzo and Cass back for NXT.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that yet. So, but basically, we do know Pac is in for All Out. As you know, because it's probably happened since we were there.
He was out for All In, and now he's in for All Out.
Exactly. It's wild, isn't it? It's ironic. So we're glad that we're going to get to watch him. I hope he's in AEW because I'm going to watch that more than Dragon Gate. I just am. And I love Pac. He's been one of my favorites for well over a decade. So this is more hearsay than anything, but it's kind of a big deal. So that's why we put it in here. But unlike some news stations and podcasts, we're going to tell you right up front, it's hearsay. There's no news on that. But there is some news, Pasty, on Moxley. Yeah.
In addition to Moxley pulling out of AEW's Grand Show this week, he is also off a StarCast due to the same injury. You can't talk with an elbow infection.
You cannot. Well,
Weird.
You know, he was going to do it in all sign language, and now
he was going to armpit fart the whole thing, right?
I think he was going. I would have paid to see that.
According to Conrad Thompson, who should be used to losing big names for his big events by now, and he's not very lucky with that.
He's lost big names for every single event. First, he lost Ric Flair, then he lost Undertaker, and who was the other WWE guy that pulled out? Anyways, Undertaker was the big name for the second StarCast, and Ric Flair for the second. He lost his father-in-law for both the StarCast.
And then he signed Ric Flair for this one, too, I think. I saw something where he was promoting for StarCast 3, and he listed off the people he got, and he said Ric Flair, and he just looked so unsure.
I know, right?
He's like, why am I saying this?
Ric Flair. So, I mean, that does suck, but there's so much great stuff in StarCast. And to be honest, I think the majority of folks, the main event of StarCast is the CM Punk live mic, so we're still going to get that.
I mean, StarCast is just a gravy on top of the weekend. Like, any events going on are going to draw attention.
Right.
I don't know.
It definitely is. AEW has a lot to do. They got this whole weekend is pretty big. And there's been some big news about a Rhodes boy, Pasty, because AEW announced Dustin Rhodes has signed a multi-year contract extension.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to continue to wrestle, but he's also joined the AEW coaching staff as a match producer and promo coach.
And an EVP.
Great. Exactly, probably. He's gonna get a producer credit. President and CEO Tony Katan from the Whitesnake video got on top of a beautiful car and said, Dustin Rhodes, with wind blowing in her hair, has had an incredible wrestling career that has spanned decades. His amazing journey brought him to AEW, and he's rejuvenated his career here. In addition to all the wisdom he has shared with us as we've launched AEW, he's come here and worked so hard for us. His comeback match against his brother Cody at Double or Nothing was one of the most acclaimed bouts in recent years, and it marked a new chapter for all of us. Dustin and I had agreed weeks ago after Fight for the Fallen that we both wanted him to stay with AEW. He's already done so much for us, and I'm thrilled that it's official now, that Dustin will be on our team going forward, both backstage and in the ring.
Hell yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Cody Dustin match is the best thing AEW's done so far.
I'd probably agree with that. Even if it wasn't the best match in my opinion, I think the whole storyline and package and everything, for
As
sure.
a thing, yeah.
For sure. It'd be hard to argue that. There's very little that you could put up against that.
Well, that's super exciting. Maybe he'll have a nice feud with CM Punk.
Maybe he'll have a nice feud with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, well, Kenny Omega will be making an appearance for DDT Pro Wrestling in November. On the company's Twitter page, DDT Pro Wrestling announced that Omega will compete in a mixed tag team match at Ultimate Party 2019, where he'll join forces with fellow AEW alumni Riho to take on Antonio Honda and Miyu Yamashita.
You know, I think it was just last week we were talking about how risky it is for them to be letting their talent go to all these different promotions.
But if Kenny and Riho want to work together, it's going to have to not be in AEW, because Tony said he didn't want to do the intergender matches.
Really hoping that the boys talk him down from that. Really hoping.
Yeah, me too.
But, I mean, remember, Kenny Omega made his name in DDT. That's where he got his start. That's where he made his name. So it's kind of cool that he's coming back home, especially now that he's one of the biggest names in pro wrestling, for him to go back to his roots and give them a big show and make a big splash is awesome. You got to give him credit. He doesn't have to do that.
No. It's good to see him giving back, because, I mean, we saw the Young Bucks do it quite a bit in the lead up to AEW, but I don't think we saw Kenny get out all too often.
No, I don't think so.
Young Bucks and Cody were out pretty often, though.
Yeah, the Bucks were doing a lot with their AAA. They had tons of matches with the Lucha Brothers back and forth, both down in Mexico and in the States, and kind of going all over the place there. So, yeah, good for him.
And Kenny's been on a losing streak lately, which I kind of look at as a positive thing, because everybody who's talked shit about AEW just to talk shit about AEW is going to assume that he's going to be going over. And so I love that they're like letting him lose. He is a great asset to the company. He doesn't need to win, but I'm hoping maybe they lose here to pass that torch on to the next DDT team. You know what I mean?
Well, and you know, having him lose constantly kind of it gives him a storyline starting right out. He was one of the best in the world, according to almost everybody, and here he is in AEW struggling to keep afloat. Like, that's a good storyline right there. You're building your own storyline.
It'll definitely curve into a heel turn somewhere in the future, and it'll be beautiful.
Oh, it has to. It has to. And yeah, I love it. I think it's great. And you know, you can't have all of the executive producers win every single fucking match. You just can't do it. Sorry. I know they want to.
No. It's got to be reserved for Kenny or for Cody.
Yeah, because that's really going to cripple your promotion, and your promotion's going to be walking around with a limp. Really similar to Ray Phoenix, Pasty. Because Ray Phoenix, oh man, he went down with
so good before ladder hell.
I know, right? Ray Phoenix went down with a leg injury at Friday's big-time wrestling event, teaming with his brother Pentagon Jr. They faced off against Juventud Guerrera and Teddy Hart. I would have loved to watch that match, because that's 4 super talented individuals.
Yes.
But during the match, Phoenix super kicked Teddy Hart, picked up Hoovy, then collapsed on the mat, grabbing his leg. After being taken to the back, the match was quickly wrapped up. Phoenix was reportedly walking around, quote, weakly, not like every week, but like he was sore afterwards.
He walks around once a week.
just to keep it going.
In the glow of the full moon.
There was some concern about his status for the upcoming tag match at this weekend's All Out, which would be fucking devastating after already losing Jon Moxley. But Phoenix was back in action Saturday for the same company, Big Time Wrestling, and he looked good by all accounts. So he should be fine and ready to go for the match against the Young Bucks at All Out. Thank heavens, because they can't afford to lose another big name.
I am telling you, superstars better enjoy wrestling for other promotions while they can, because that ain't gonna last too long. I'd almost wonder if contracts didn't end as soon as live TV started, because you're needed on a weekly basis.
Yeah, or basically finish up whatever contracts you have, don't take any more new dates, and as soon as those are done, you're exclusive. Unless we do a cross promotion where it's literally All Out and AAA, or All Out, and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they're a part of it. But
something where it's on the company dime, where they know they're getting usage out of their superstars.
Yeah.
Whew. Time for some predictions, my friend.
I predict it is.
Yes, AEW All Out predictions, folks.
I'm excited for this one, Pasty.
I'm very anticipating this one. Unfortunately, we'll be camping, and I think I'm just going to leave my phone at home. 'Cause I don't want anything ruined for me for this.
Right. You don't need any spoilers.
So, we're starting off with the buy-in, and the first match is the Women's Casino Battle Royale. Winner receives a one-on-one shot at inaugural women's title. And, we've got a decent list of women. Some we haven't even seen before in AEW.
Yeah, they've got 11 names announced as of this recording. And there's going to be 21 women or more. We had 22 in the last 21-man Battle Royal. So
it's going to be 52.
Who don't? 52 pickup.
They're going to do a 52 at some point, especially since the Saudi Arabia biggest Royal Rumble was 51.
Oh my God.
So you got to do the full deck, right? Like, that's the thing.
Oh, for sure.
So we've got Ariel, Big Swole Monroe, Allie, Awesome Kong, Brandy Rhodes, Dr. Britt Baker, Evilise, Jazz, Nyla Rose, Amazing Grace, Sadie Gibbs, Shaza McKenzie, I like that name,
right.
Teal Piper, Yuka Sakazaki, and 10 more to be announced. Who you got, buddy?
So, obviously, like you said, first of all, there's quite a mix in there from veterans to greenhorns to semi-wrestlers like Brandy Rose. And not only that, we only have about half of the names. But you would assume with the fact that the winner is going to get a shot at the women's title, the very first women's title match, one of these women's going to be involved in it. You have to assume that shortens it, A, to women that are contracted. You would think. You would hope. That's got to be smart. And B, to women that
contracted?
are contracted to the company.
Oh, contracted.
Yeah, contracted to the company. And you think that it's going to be an A-lister, at most a B-plus lister.
Yeah.
with that being said,